Let's have a look at the starting grid then in reverse order on the final row of the grid with a penalty. Ricardo Feller in the Land Motorsport Audi and Nicola Bart in the Aston Martin. Nicky Tim on the podium yesterday starts 22nd with ballast, and then it's Fabio Scherer, Gilles Magnus 20th. Timo Glock had a spectacular puncture yesterday, 19th. Max Powell on the podium yesterday, 18th on the grid with Ben Green for company. Arjun Maini and Mirko Bortolotti, the reigning champion, are next up. On row 7, it's Luca Engstler and Maurice Schuring, one of the home heroes. Maro Engel, 12th on the grid. Championship leader Lucas Auer, only 11th on the grid for this one. Thierry Vermeulen and Tom Callender start next. 8th is yesterday's pole sitter Jordan Pepper, and 7th is yesterday's winner Ianjan Nguyen. Ben Durst 6th on the grid. Thomas Preining 5th on the grid. Then it's Jules Gunn on 4th. Marco Wittmann starting 3rd. Jack Aitken, fresh from the Le Mans starts. Another action-packed adventure in the DTM 2025 Championship. René Rast on a record pole position career of number 26 is about to lead the charge as the lights go green and we go racing here at Zandvoort. Rast and Aitken look like they're off to decent starts, but also Marco Wittmann off to a great start, and his 200s race start is a good one because he's got himself in a second place by the looks of it. And watch as well for Tommy Preining, he's having a go at the Ferrari and at the BMW. Rast leads, Wittmann is second, who's going to be third? And there's Gunon and Nguyen 5th and 6th. Let's get some replays of the start, Brian.
Yes, so René Rast was quite a long way ahead when they got to the line, whether he had jumped ahead or whether Jack Aitken was holding back. But it is under investigation into turn 1, an incident involving Jack Aitken. But René Rast certainly was well ahead, and that just allowed Marco Wittmann to sail through in the gap on the inside as well. The view from Jack Aitken around the outside, just getting a little bit bumpy with Marco Wittmann, riding a bit of curb, and now the green BMW slots in front. But I thought that Jack was just a very long way back when they got to the line. I don't know whether he was holding back or whether Rast was pressing forward. I think it's Rast's decision, the exact pace that they get to the start-finish line.
Worked out for Wittmann though, didn't it? He just glued himself to the rear wing of his teammate and blocked out Jack Aitken. Jack then furiously tried to hang on around the outside, took to the curbs, maybe a wheel on the grass, and then he had to worry about Thomas Preining, who there in the Porsche appeared next to him on the run into turn 3, but Jack bravely held on to the inside line and held on to that corner. There's Thierry Vermeulen. It's a gearbox issue that put him out yesterday in the Ferrari, and he's going side by side with Jordan Pepper. Ferrari versus Lamborghini. Luca Engstler, just to say as well, got a penalty for the incident with Maro Engel post-race late last night after the reviewed on-board footage with Luca Engstler. And this is Maro Engel down the inside of Pepper, and it was that contact there with the Ferrari, either puncture or suspension damage. The left side looks a bit down. Let's hear from him now.
Front left puncture.
Oh, front left puncture. In races, he's shown lots of potential, Fabio, but hasn't had the results he probably deserves. A replay of Maurice Schuring versus Tom Callender. Just on the fringe of the top 10, and then he went wide, and then this was a replay of Mirko Bortolotti nipping past as well.
On lap 2, Ben Green had a poor qualifying, but he's now coming through as well, challenging Tom Callender. Callender, who was in 14th place, but Ben Green working his way up through the pack.
Yeah, Callender qualified a career best, it's only his second weekend in DTM, but 9th. But he's struggling at the moment as we now get Ben Durst going side by side with Maro Engel. Ben qualified 5th at the Lausitz Ring, 6th here, and he did have a good race from 5th at the Lausitz Ring with various penalties. Is that McLaren? A replay of a possible bit of contact here? Yes, with Tom Callender and Arjun Maini. Ferrari of Thierry Vermeulen is the first of the top 10 drivers to make his way in. Mirko Bortolotti in the Lambo comes in. Tom Callender in the Mercedes. Max Powell, who got Powell Motorsport's first ever DTM podium yesterday, is in. Ricardo Feller, who picked up a post-qualifying penalty, which put him at the back of the grid. He's in. And Nicola Bart is in as well. I've come close to getting his first points yesterday. This just gives you an idea of how frenetic it is to try and change the tyres and get the cars in and out in less than, ideally, in and out in less than 7 seconds. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Engstler desperate to come in as well. Maini comes in, and Nicky Tim has come in as well.
So the crew get to work on the problems as Jules Gounon there had to wait.
The Lamborghini that's trying to warm its tyres up, having just come out on fresh tyres. And look at this contact between Ben Durr and Mirko Bortolotti. Now remember, Ben Durr had contact with Mirko at the Lausitz ring 2 weeks ago, sent him onto the grass and got a penalty for it. Mirko gets his elbows out and returns the favour.
Yeah, they have long memories, these racing drivers, don't they? Heading in towards turn, Arjamaini and Ben Durr making contact with each other. I think that Ben Durr was just going to try and shut the door. Arjamaini says, yeah, not on my watch, you don't. But now Ben Durr with the inside line returns the compliment a little into turn T. Now up onto the banking of turn 3. Arjamaini going wide. Ben Durr running him as close to the fence as he dare. Then flat onto the accelerator. Nobody is giving way here. This is personal, isn't it? Ben Durr on the inside. A puff of blue smoke as they make contact. Arjamaini says, I'll be having that, thank you very much.
And absolutely not giving an inch to each other and coming close to contact and then making contact on the way out of the corner. And we got 3 Mercedes together now as they get onto the tail of Lucas Auer, who's already got his tyres halfway up to temperature, but not enough to fend off Gounon. But Gounon will drop back behind this pair when he serves his penalty. Winwood and Landgraf, as we've got now Engine Gouin coming under fire from Luca Engstler. Side by side, Luca Engstler's got the inside line flat out, 200 kilometres an hour as they go through the banking, and the Lamborghini driver is through. And next is going to be the turn of the Ferrari of Thierry Vermeulen to get through. Vermeulen's going to try and go around the outside on the way into turn 1. Gouin's not having any of it. Remember, he's got the weight on the car as well. In amongst that battle as well is Gounon, because he served his penalty now and dropped back in the yellow Mercedes. And Vermeulen got through, so the young Dutch driver had a good race here on his home circuit. And Ben Green go wheel to wheel, and it's the Mercedes that gets through, and the Ferrari might be about to drop another position as we watch on board with Riccardo Fella. Mirko Bortolotti getting through as well, not Mirko Bortolotti, Nico Tim getting through as well.
At the back of Maro Engel. Right, this was the incident under investigation. Nicky Tim giving Riccardo Fella the squeeze on the exit of turn 1. You're going to have to go a lot harder than that. This is the view from Riccardo Fella. I think we're about to feel a bump. Oof, there it is. Onto the dirt he goes, and Nicky Tim is through.
Max Pell getting a face full of gravel as a result of all that. He was just behind the pair of them.
It's good we can watch 2 races at once here. On the left-hand side of your picture, you can see the view from Jack Aitken, and less than 3 tenths away from Thomas Preining in third as Arjamaini ducks to the outside of Maurice Schuring, under braking into turn 1. He's going to try and go the long way around, but that big brute of a Mustang takes a bit of turning with the nimble Porsche, just keeping the advantage around turn 1.
But a slightly quicker pit stop for Manthey. It is, as you were really, Preining's was 7.1, 8 seconds dead for Aitken.
I wonder if Manthey brought Thomas Preining in then.
10 minutes or so of racing to go. A nice big gap back for him. Engine Gouin has been off the road and causes a traffic jam as he rejoins right in front of Maurice Schuring. Schuring is ahead of Miney, and Miney then gets past him as well, but he came out right into the middle of traffic. So Gouin in, and then Gouin, and this might be showing us what happened to Gouin, why he went off the road. He was in that battle with Vermeulen. He was trying to go around the outside of the chicane. There was contact. He went through the gravel trap, just about avoided that huge puddle, rejoined, and from Maurice Schuring's point of view, watch, there's about to be a green Porsche right in front of you, right in front of you.
Oh.
Great reactions.
Yes.
Teammates as well, remember. Nose to tail here between 2 great Italian brands, one a Ferrari, one a Lamborghini. One of them happens to be a champion, Mirko Bortolotti, trying to swing around the outside, and he does it. Fantastic move from Mirko, and he gets the place ahead of one of the home heroes. Understandably, in very slippery circumstances, on slick tyres on a damp track. He won't be making that mistake today. He's almost there. He's almost home and dry. And René Rast, having broken the record for pole positions, is about to break the checkered flag. They cheer already. René Rast is your race winner.
You were safe. Well done, mate. Maximum pickup, you were safe.
Almost a photo finish for third as well, as Preining and Aitken cross the line, but just a few tenths between them in the end.
Let's have a look at the classification of race 2 of the weekend.
35 frantic laps, 2 pit stops, 1 race winner, René Rast, a 1-2 for Schubert Motorsport ahead of Marco Wittmann on his 200th race start. Thomas Preining 3rd for Manthey EMA. Jack Aitken for Emil Frey Racing Ferrari in 4th. Maro Engel in the Winwood Mercedes 5th. And Luca Engstler 6th. Lucas Auer 7th. Jules Gunon 8th. Mirko Bortolotti in 9th. And Arjun Maini sneaking through to 10th place. A great result for the Indian driver in the HRT Ford Performance Ford Mustang. So there were your top 10. Maini, after a race-long battle with Skuring, getting through on the Dutch driver, is second in the championship now. René Rast after winning the race. So Thomas Preining onto the podium. Wrong step. Up to 3rd place he goes. Hard-fought 3rd place that as well. Another good battle between him and Jack Aitken, who are very evenly matched this season. And for the end of his 200th race, it's a trip up onto the podium for Marco Wittmann. What a career he has had. It's great to see him back up there, also fighting for the championship. Some 12 years after he first came into the DTM Championship. Oh, he's still light ahead. Don't fall over again, René. And yeah, a slightly weary René Rast. What a victory. That was a hard-fought one. He did just enough to keep Wittmann at bay. He's on to the top step of the podium. Trophy presentation, and there's the big one first, and it goes to the big man. René Rast had to work hard for that one, and he'll count that one, even though there wasn't loads of spectacular overtaking and so forth in his particular race. He'll count that as one of his hardest fought victories, I reckon. Toby Shim on there trying to hang on to the piece of paper in this wind. The wind's a nightmare, but the drivers probably like it, Brian, because it'll cool them down after a hot race, won't it?
Yeah, they were all freezing before they got in the cars at the start. They're all cooking now, aren't they? Schaeffler very appropriately presenting the trophy to the Schaeffler-sponsored Marco Wittmann.
Absolutely. It's his home race next as well at the Norris Ring. He's never had the best of luck there, but he'll have an absolute army of fans cheering him on there, the Bavarian driver, and the Bavarian race and around the streets of Norris Ring, which is our next destination, after which we'll be halfway through already this year's championship fight. There is a champion, 2023 title winner, Thomas Preining, 60 kilometres an hour, easy, opening a bottle of champagne, not quite so easy. Thomas Preining doesn't care if he's not feeling well. You're going to get splattered, mate, anyway. But then comes the revenge, Brian.
Yeah, and a nice on board with René Rast covering Thomas Preining.